creating a snapshot file using sysdiff. To begin, we'll go to the Start menu and click on Programs and go to Windows NT Explorer. Open up Explorer, go to the D drive, to the Support OPK i386 directory, and you'll notice we have some executables and INF files here. We'll double click on sysdiff.inf, and here you'll see exclude drives. We'll go to the D drive and remove the semicolon, the drive letter of the drive to be excluded. Go ahead and save those changes. Next, go to the D drive. We're going to create a folder called Images. This is where our snapshot image will be stored and created. Next, we're going to go over to the Start menu and go to the Run command and type in d:\support \opk \i386 /sysdiff space /snap space d:\images \base.img file. This is the base.image file that will be created. Say OK. Now you'll notice that there are lots of files that are being copied into the snapshot file, directories and files, and also a series of keys from the registry. After this file is created, then the process is complete. It then creates a .img file. The snapshot file here is create, wrote a snapshot file to the images folder, and it's called base.img. To take a look at this file, we're going to go back into NT Explorer and take a look at the size of this file. Go to the images directory, base.img, right mouse click Properties, and here you'll notice that the size of the file is 8.9 megabytes. And the process is complete. Installing Microsoft NetMeeting 2.1. In this exercise, we're going to install Microsoft NetMeeting 2.1. Go to the Start menu, click on Programs, Windows NT Explorer, go to the D drive, NetMeet folder, and you'll see that there's an nm21.executable asking you if you'd like to install Microsoft NetMeeting 2.1. We then go through and read through the license agreement, page down, and accept the terms of the license agreement. And here we'll click Yes. It's now extracting the files for installing Microsoft NetMeeting 2.1. It'll install it in the C root program files NetMeeting NT directory. Here it shows the Microsoft NetMeeting has been installed successfully. And click OK. Now to verify that it has been installed correctly in its default location, go to the Programs, Microsoft NetMeeting, and here it shows that it's on the menu. Using sysdiff to create a difference file. In this exercise, we'll use sysdiff to create a difference file containing all files and changes that occurred when installing NetMeeting 2.1. Go to the Start menu, go to the Run command, and type in d:\support \opk \i386 /sysdiff space /diff space /c:, and in quotes we'll put Microsoft NetMeeting 2.1 space d:\images \base.img for the base image file that we created earlier, space d:\images \nm21.img for the NetMeeting 2.1 image, and then we're going to go ahead and click OK. The sysdiff window appears, and then the INF file diff Registry diff and directory and file diff windows display the progress as sysdiff creates a difference package file containing the changes made to the reference computer's configuration by the NetMeeting installation program. So a lot of these files are being copied currently. Here we click OK. Configuring the $OEM distribution folder. In this exercise, we'll use sysdiff to create and configure the $OEM folder in a Windows NT Workstation distribution folder. Here we'll go to the run command and type in d:/support /opk /i386 /sysdiff space /inf space /m space d:/images /nm21.img, and that's for the NetMeeting 2.1 image file, space d:/i386, and click OK. And there's a message box here that tells you that sysdiff is processing the request. The dump or INF operation or the INF file is completed successfully. So what we can do here is go back and take a look at going to Windows NT Explorer once again. We're going to go to the D drive, open up the i386 $OEM folder on drive D, and here we take a look at the $OEM folder itself, and we see that there's an nm21.inf file. In the command lines.txt file above it, you'll notice that there's entries that have been put in here for nm21.inf, which is the NetMeeting 2.1 file information. And we'll go ahead and close command lines.txt. Using Setup Manager to create an answer file. In this exercise, we'll use Setup Manager to create an unattended installation answer file for Windows NT Workstation. We'll go to the Windows Explorer, go to the D drive, Support, OPK, i386 directory, and we'll click on Setup Manager. Open up Setup Manager, go to the General tab. We have a lot of information here about users and installed directories. Here we'll go to the Installed Directory tab and type in WinNT as the directory. The computer role is going to be a workstation and a work group. So in this case, we'll select that option, and here we'll type in, for the name of the work group. On the Display Settings tab, we want to make sure that we have automatically used the above settings checkbox down below enabled, as well as horizontal resolution at 800 and vertical resolution at 600. Time zone, we'll go ahead and select Pacific Time Zone and click OK. As far as the networking setup options, here there are a bunch of different general tabs here. The unattended network installation is what we want to do, and we automatically want to detect the network adapter card. For protocols, we'll add protocols here. With the pull-down menu, we'll select TCP/IP and click OK. Under the parameters, we have the option of whether or not we want to use DHCP, the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, that automatically assigns IP addresses to other machines. If you're not using DHCP, then you will have to manually assign an IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway for your TCP/IP setup. So we'll type this information in and click OK. Also, under Services, in the Services tab, we'll go to the list of services, and here Adding Services dialog box appears, and we'll select Remote Access Service, or RAS, for dial-up. Click OK. Go to the Parameters tab. Now we have to configure a port for RAS. So under the ports selection, there are some options here under Add, port selection number 1 as the default parameter. And under the port selection number 1 as the default, there are a series of COM ports we can select. We'll select COM1. A bunch of other dial-up protocols at the bottom of the list. We'll select TCP/IP as our dial-out protocol. Under modem, we want to select the port that we had configured earlier, which is COM1, and in the modem description, which has to be typed in exactly how it is so that the strings can be added into the list of modems to be installed, we'll go ahead and put standard 28.8 modem there in COM1. Click OK. Under the Advanced Setup tab, there's a series of specified keyboard layouts, information about the HAL. For this, we want to select a keyboard, so we want to use the US International keyboard as our default. Also, file systems, you'll know down below there's an option of whether or not we want to extend a partition of a disk that's greater than 2 gigabytes, and most disks are these days, so we'll go ahead and select that option as well. Now we'll save as an unattend.txt file, so we'll save that on the D drive. And we'll type in unattend1.txt. 1 is for the number of the students that you have in the class if you need to number those off. Otherwise, you can use unattend.txt. So now we've created the unattend.txt file on the D drive of the computer. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. We open that up in Notepad. And you'll notice in Notepad there's all the configuration settings that were set using Setup Manager. For instance, time zone information, Pacific time. We also have the standard 28.8 modem installed, work group name, joining the different work group scenarios, as well as IP addresses, static IP addresses, etc. So that's the unattended.txt file. Configuring the distribution folder to pre-install Service Pack 4A. You will modify the command lines.txt file and the contents of the $OEM folder to configure the distribution server to pre-install Windows NT Service Pack 4A. We'll go to Windows NT Explorer and open up the D drive, go to the C folder created on the reference machine, and here we'll create a new folder and we'll call that SP4A, and that's where we're going to put our Service Pack 4A files. We'll create the folder there. And now we'll go down and get the executable from any reference. This can be your CD-ROM SP4A. It can be on your courseware that comes with the student kit. So here we'll go ahead and select the SP4i386 executable. And we'll copy that to the SP4A directory under the C folder on the reference computer. Go ahead and paste that in. Here it's copying all the necessary files that have been compiled in this executable. Once that's copied over, we'll then go to the $OEM folder and open up the command lines.txt file. Now this text file is to point to where the SP4A executable has been copied. So we're going to say C:\\. Now that's the C folder on the reference machine. Okay, go to SP4A /SP4i386 /U/N and /Z. The /U, this switch instructs sysdiff to generate the INF file as a Unicode text file. Here we'll save those changes. So now it's going to point to SP4A for the pre-installation process. We'll go up to the D drive. We'll open up the unattend.txt file. And here, we'll look at the contents of the different parameters. And for instance, right here, we have an OEM pre-install equals yes. That shows that we're going to pre-install during this process is going to use the unattend.txt file. Creating custom information files. In this exercise, you will use Paint to create a graphics that will appear in the background during the graphical mode of setup. You will then modify the sample OEM info.ini file to include custom company information. We'll go in and open up Microsoft Paint. And here, we'll go to the File menu. And we'll go to the D drive and open up the Support, OPK, Samples directory, and the OEM background.bmp file. Here we open it up as Awesome Computers and check the attributes of the width and the height at 640 by 480. Here we'll go ahead and make a modification to this file. You can go ahead and paste in your logo for your OEM or your distributor here. I'll just put in some changes. We'll go ahead and save these changes. And here we'll call it the OEM background.bmp. And I had another file there, so I'll just replace it. Keep those changes. We'll go ahead and close down Paint. Now to modify the OEM info.ini file, we'll go to the Programs, Windows NT Explorer, and we'll open up the D drive, the Support directory, OPK, and go to the Samples folder. And here, we'll take a look at the OEM info.ini file in Notepad, and we'll open this up so we can take a look. A lot of parameter settings here, and this file contains model and support information that's displayed in the system control panel when you pre-install the operating system. We'll go down to the general information here and put in manufacturer. We'll type in Awesome Computers. For the model, we'll type in the model Awesome Super PC 2000. We'll also come down to the support information and type in the phone number. We'll just put a sample here for customer support. We'll put in 555-1212 for the information as a sample. So here you can customize your system and control panel that shows your support information and your company logo in the background. And we'll save changes to that file. And we'll close Windows NT Explorer. Using Setup Manager to customize setup. In this exercise, we use Setup Manager to modify an unattended installation answer file to display a company logo and banner while installing Windows NT Workstation. We'll go to the D drive and open up the Support, OPK, i386 directory, and open up Setup Manager. Here we'll go ahead and open up from the D drive, the reference computer, the unattend1.txt file, and now we're going to modify that file using Setup Manager. We'll go to the Advertisement tab, and we have three different areas here: banner text, logo graphics file, and background graphics file. For the banner text, we'll go ahead and type in Windows NT Setup, ****, Awesome Computers. Under the logo graphics file, we'll put in the path d:\support \opk \samples, and then the name of the logo graphics file. In this case, OEM logo.bmp. And the background graphics file d:\support \opk \samples, and then the name of the background graphics file, OEM background.bmp. After we make those changes, we can go ahead and save those. And also save as, we can save as an unattend.txt file. In this case, we already have an unattend.txt file created, so we'll just replace that with the changes. Exit Setup Manager. We'll go back to the D drive and click on the unattend.txt file, and look at all the configuration information here. Under the OEM advertisements area, we'll notice that the banner, logo, and background information has been updated in the unattend.txt file. And we'll close this. Creating the distribution server to customize setup. In this exercise, you will copy the OEM information and logo files to the appropriate locations on the distribution server. We'll open up NT Explorer and go to the D drive, Support, OPK, Samples, and highlight the OEM logo.bmp and the OEM background.bmp files. Go ahead and copy those to the appropriate location. Open up the i386 directory, $OEM$, and paste the files in here. We'll also go back to the Samples directory, double-click that, and highlight the OEM logo.bmp and the OEM info.ini files, and also cut and paste those to the appropriate location. In this case, the $OEM $, $$ folder, system32, and paste the files in here. Now, the OEM information and logo files are to the appropriate locations on the distribution server. Using the Microsoft System Preparation tool to prepare a Windows NT Workstation computer for duplication. In this exercise, you will install Microsoft Windows NT 4.0 System Preparation tool. You will then run sysprep to prepare a Windows NT Workstation 4.0 reference computer for disk image copying. First, we'll go to Programs, Administrative Tools, User Manager, and go in to look at the password information. You want to log on to the reference computer as administrator with no password. If there is a password already, you can use User Manager to clear it. For successful completion, the mini setup wizard requires that the reference computer administrator account and password be blank in order to allow the end user to specify a new password. Now we'll go to the Programs, NT Explorer, and here we'll go to Drive D and create a new folder, and we'll call the new folder Sysprep. We'll type that in. Now we go get the nt4prep.executable from either the CD-ROM or another reference computer and copy that and paste that into the directory. And we'll double click nt4prep, and now the Windows NT 4.0 System Preparation Tool Setup dialog box appears. And we'll type in the location of where we'd like to place the extracted files. We'll put C:/sysprep and click OK. Here, the folder sysprep does not exist. We'll go ahead and create it. And now we'll click OK, and the sysprep files have been extracted. Go ahead and close Explorer. And we'll go back down to the Start menu and click on the Run command. Here we're going to put in a path, C:/sysprep space -defeat, and the use of the system preparation tool with the retail versions other than the OEM versions of Microsoft Windows NT 4.0 Workstation, you must use the -defeat command switch to disable application version checking. Now we'll see a system preparation tool starts and displays the Microsoft license information dialog box. For organization name, contract number, license number, and license count. Here we'll type in for the lab here, Awesome Computers. This would be the name of your organization. Contract number. For the lab, we'll use 1646977. And the license type, we'll go ahead and put select there. And the license count at 1. And we'll click Next. We'll click OK. Now we see the information that you've entered. Awesome Computers is the organization name, contract number, license type, and license count. We'll click Next here. And now the system preparation tool will rerun a portion of the Windows NT setup and may potentially reset the system security, but this process is now complete.